Welcome to the Everything Podcast, Season 2, Episode 45. So in the last episode, Episode 44, I did my review of Only Murders in the Building, Series 3, Episode 5. And normally after the review, I would show the official after show titled One Killer Question, which I forgot to do. So here is One Killer Question, Episode 5, the after show, and containing spoilers, but if you've listened to yesterday's episode, or the last episode, you will know that. So here is Only Murders in the Building, One Killer Question, Episode 5.
This year, Only Murders in the Building is focusing on the world of theater, where you have to perform live.
Why are you acting like I don't understand that?
You have to make a connection with the audience. Give everything you have, every performance.
Yeah, I've literally toured the entire world.
Yeah, being on stage, in the spotlight, it's hard to describe.
What?
Oh, good, you're back. Welcome to One Killer Question, the Only Murders in the Building after show. I'm your host, Michael Cyril Creighton. Mabel and Taubert kiss by the suspect board, which makes perfect sense because every love interest in this show has been a murderer or a suspect. Jan, Alice, Oscar, Loretta, Joy, Taubert. Is this a coincidence? Can they ever be in a normal relationship? Is the trio in love with murder? Let's see what our guests think. Welcome, Sophia Coppo, Jason VC, and Jay Manuel.
Hey.
How are you all?
We're great.
Fabulous.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I feel underdressed. All right. So let's start. Are our wonderful trio in love with murder?
I would have to say there's definitely a toxic pattern going on here.
Yes, absolutely
I'm just going to
toxic.
say it as it is.
Yeah?
Yes.
We all have it. Theirs happens to be murder.
Yeah.
Is there a world, though, where yes, they are passionate about solving a crime, but women maybe they're more in love with is the bonding time that it has for all of them?
Do you mean that there's a short amount of time, like because these people are going to go to jail? It's like in the olden times when you'd marry someone before they went off to war.
Yeah, it's like you don't
Now
have to
they're
break up
just
with them.
Falling in love with people before they're found of murder.
That's what they're
Murder's their
doing.
work and they're sleeping with the murderer.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
You know what? I feel like murder is somewhat of an aphrodisiac when it comes to these three.
Clearly
is
for
it-
Jan.
Am I overanalyzing it a little bit? And they all walk around with their own set of blinders on, but in different ways. Like if we look at Mabel, I mean, first of all, last season we learned that she has the ability to block things out, and she came up with this whole idea of dissociation around her father's death. And I mean, rightly so, that was traumatizing. She was a young girl. But like now with Alice, you know, she was a very realistic suspect in Bunny's murder, but she was kind of into that relationship. And then she was flirting with Theo at Coney Island, you know, so it's like all these things, like, so I feel like she has a way of blocking out, like, these are murderers or potential murderers, and yet, look at
I think, I mean,
going.
I don't know, maybe I'm getting like way too
no,
deep into
it makes
this.
perfect sense. Like, do we all forget that Theo is a murderer?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
he's
do.
going to jail for that, exactly.
Theo's so likable, but he pushed her best friend off a roof.
Yes.
Yeah, it did happen.
But did he push her?
No, did he though?
Did he push her though?
He may have pushed her friend
It's
off a
under
roof.
question.
But can we talk about Taubert for just a moment?
He's sketchy.
See, a little sketchy.
He tricked her.
I'm telling y'all, those eyes are going to have you hiding a body. I don't trust him. You will compromise yourself and your morals with that face.
I think
Stay away
he
from me.
He could get away with murder.
Stay away.
Which makes sense that Mabel is being drawn to him.
Oh yeah, they met both going to break into the penthouse.
Yeah, and when they were
Casually.
at that murder board, that was sensual. I would say it was
Yeah.
sensual with the string and the kissing, and it was
And
like
even when they were locked in the armoire together.
oh yeah,
Also,
Yeah, it was
we
the same. It was just
talked
tension.
about
They're investigating something
I-
together, yes.
I think
investigating each other.
so. Charles dated Jan,
Yes.
murderer.
Yeah.
For me, what I always think of when I see Charles visiting Jan in prison and he's like slowly getting roped back into her, it's like
He's getting aroused for sure.
for
Yes,
sure.
that's true.
You see
We all
it.
something's
Well,
happening there.
not
But
everything.
It's like when you don't tell your best friend like you're not taking her advice, and he goes back to the crew and he's like lying about being with Jan. Even he was falling for a murderer, fully knowing because she's in prison what she
Right,
did.
right.
Also, she tried to kill him, so that is a real toxic trait.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
Exactly. And then he dated and proposed to Joy and then accused her of murder.
Right.
Yeah.
And then sabotaged that whole relationship.
Yeah.
The engagement's off.
And do you think he sabotaged the relationship because he realized she wasn't a murderer?
Ooh, see, I actually think that's the case.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because
He got
he actually said earlier on, he's not really good with people in his space, in his
Right.
house, right? So when she comes in with the fish,
Right.
62
first of all, when
fish.
she came in with the fish, she'd have to go.
Yeah, that's,
That's a
Okay,
red
already
flag.
it was a lot.
And they have pretty great chemistry.
they do.
Yeah.
They do.
The, what's it
History.
called? The aardvark? No, the,
yeah, it was.
was it the aardvark?
But it was a aardvark with like a chimpanzee sound effect.
the antelope.
The antelope.
Antelope.
That
yes.
sounded like
The
a
antelope.
primate.
They have great chemistry, and she's so supportive of Charles and has been there from the beginning. And the fact that he was able to decide that she was a murderer
Yes.
might have been a way for him to try to decide that he loved her.
I love that you say that she's been supportive from the beginning when the first thing she said, first time you sat in my chair 30 years ago, I thought you were going to die alone.
Yes.
So let's define supportive.
Now, wonderful, sweet Oliver
Yeah.
is now drawn to Loretta, only to find out that she is also a suspect.
Could you imagine finding that book after sleeping with someone?
Well,
I think Oliver likes the theatricality and the drama of the situation. So I think that's kind of like, oh, wow, this is crazy, but like, what a story. Like,
True.
I can use this somewhere.
Yeah.
maybe I have a completely different take on this because I feel like she might just be an Uber fan. I feel like it's just too obvious that she really could be a
Yeah.
suspect.
Yeah, I do agree.
I don't know. I'm not ruling anybody out, including you.
Okay.
Including me. You guys probably didn't do it because you're not on the show.
Or
but I'm
did
not ruling
we?
anybody out. I think
We
that's
might live in the building though.
That's true.
It's a huge building.
Do we think that the trio are capable of having a normal relationship, or is this pattern just going to continue and continue and continue?
I think in order to do that, they might have to move to a building where people don't die every year.
Right, in order to sort of move forward,
Move
have a
forward.
nice, sweet relationship.
Yes, just go to a regular building where people stay alive
Yeah, while we're here.
that you don't talk to.
I have a question for you though.
Yeah.
Okay, so you live in New York.
Yes.
So now let's just say there was a murder in your building. Would you move out?
No, but here's the thing, I would not. But here's the thing: if every year one of my neighbors keeps dropping like flies, it's time for me to
Yeah.
go.
Or fell
would
down an
say.
elevator shaft?
Oh, yeah.
I'm bouncing.
Got it.
I'm bouncing.
Sophia, Jason, Jay, thank you so much for being here. It's been so fun talking to you and having you on that couch. And on that note, it's time to play One Killer Game, where I play the Tooth Fairy. Here I am, dressed in this outfit that I'm so happy to be in. I am the Tooth Fairy. Okay, guys, we're going to guess what Oliver wished for with that tooth. And I'm going to listen.
Okay, so I'm going to maintain that Oliver is all about work. So it's work, work, work first. Because remember when he was hugging Will in that tender moment, talking about Teddy being his real dad, then the phone call?
Yes.
And he's like, maybe I shouldn't look. Maybe I should look. Oh, it's a producer. You know what? Let me take it, right? Work first. So even though he's with Loretta and it's this whole romantic moment, I think he's thinking about work. So he wished for a Tony Award for his first big musical splash.
Absolutely.
Similar, I'm going to expand. I think that he truly wishes that the love of his life becomes a star by winning a Tony Award for the show.
And is the love of his life himself or Loretta?
I think it's Loretta.
You're right. It's Loretta.
I think it's best of both worlds.
Yeah. Hope she's not a murderer.
We'll see.
I was going to say, I think his wish is that Loretta is not a murderer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Maybe.
That's a good
I
one.
think the three of you perfectly crafted what Oliver would wish for. And I have decided that, granted, I want
Yeah.
Oliver to be happy. I want everybody in this show to be happy. Well, this was real fun and such a dream. Thank you all for being here. And until next time, thanks for watching One Killer Question. May all your wishes come true. Taking this off.
So that was the episode 5 One Colour Question, which was contained spoilers for season 3, episode 5 of Only Murders in the Building. And if you want to check my review, go and check season 2, episode 44, which was the last episode. Now back to what I should have been talking about in this episode, had I remembered to attach One Colour Question to the end of the last episode. It's time for this week's weekly recap. So, episode 39 was a Big Finish trailer roundup special. So the first trailer I talked about was Once and Future, The Martian Invasion of Planet 50. The second was the 6th Doctor Adventures box set titled Purity Unbound. The third trailer was the 11th Doctor Chronicles titled Everywhere and Anywhere. And the last trailer I talked about was Rose Tyler, The Dimension Canon, Trapped. Then the next episode, episode 40, was the 50th podcast episode celebration. So that, well, it was split into 2 parts. But yeah, you can go and check that out. Then episode 41, I reviewed Modern Doctor Who, Series 1, episode 1 to 5. Then in episode 42, I reviewed Modern Doctor Who, Series 1, episode 6 to 10. In episode 43, I reviewed Modern Doctor Who, Series 1, episode 11 to 13. And in today's episode, I have reviewed Only Murders in the Building, Series 3, episode... No, I didn't. Yes, yesterday's episode even was Only Murders in the Building, Series 3, episode 5. And in today's episode, I have showed you the One Colour Question from that episode. But yes, coming up next is the Neighbours trailer that was released a couple of weeks ago, but I forgot to include in the podcast episode. So here is a trailer for the Neighbours reboot. Here it is.
Gosh, a lot's happened in the last 2 years.
All roads lead back to Ramsey Street. I'm back! Some things never change.
I do really want to know more about you.
Sounds like a pretty close-knit neighborhood. Hello, everyone.
Yoo-hoo. Maybe the ad should have said overly friendly neighbours.
You got our daughter involved in this?
You just gotta give it a go. Well, we found a date on the calendar and went for it.
I want you to find out exactly what she's been doing since she's been here.
Why would she not make her presence known?
Because she is a spy.
I'm worried about what I'll say. I'm worried that there'll be no coming back from it.
She's one amazing woman.
I have been keeping something from you.
It's about Harold. I can't make it stop.
Why didn't you tell me who you are?
You're not having second thoughts about today, are you?
Next up is a feature that I'll be introducing on every episode where I do a weekly recap, which is the Everything Podcast's weekly quiz. So there is 12, is it 12 questions? I think it's 12 questions, yeah, 12 questions about this week's Everything podcast episodes. Question number 1 is who plays Rose Tyler in Doctor Who? Question 2 is who plays the 6th Doctor in Doctor Who? Question 3, name one of the Series 1 episodes featured in the 50th episode. Question 4, which episode of the first 10 episodes of Season 2 was my favourite? Question number 5, which historical figure features in Series 1 Episode 3 of Modern Doctor Who, titled The Unquiet Dead? Question 6, what are the names of the 2 episodes that feature the Slovene? Question 7, who plays the 9th Doctor in Doctor Who? Question 8, who plays Captain Jack Harkness in Doctor Who? Question 9, which reality show does the 9th Doctor appear in at the start of Series 1 Episode 12, titled Bad Wolf? Question 10, who does the 9th Doctor regenerate into? Question 11, who plays Ben Glenroy in Only Murders in the Building, Series 3 Episode... Only Murders in the Building, Series 3. But primarily Episode 1 was where he was featured the most heavily. And final question, question number 12, who does Ian Smith play in Neighbours? So it is now time for this week's Everything Podcast Weekly Quiz answers. So question 1, which was who plays Rose Tyler in Doctor Who? It is Billie Piper. Question 2, the 6th Doctor is played by Colin Baker. Number 3, which was the Season 1, which episodes from Season 1 were featured in the 50th episode. They were Series 1 Episode 5 and Series 1 Episode 6. If you wrote Series 1 Episode 5 or Series 1 Episode 6, that is correct. My favourite episode from the first 10 episodes of Season 2 was Season 2 Episode 5. The historical figure that was featured in Series 1 Episode 3 of Modern Doctor Who, which was The Unquiet Dead, it was Charles Dickens. Question number 6, which were the 2 episodes to feature the Slovene. Well, there's actually 3, but 2-parter is in London World War 3, and you could also argue Boomtown. The 9th Doctor is played by Christopher Eccleston. Captain Jack Harkness is played by John Barrowman. The 9th Doctor appears at a futuristic version of Big Brother in Series 1 Episode 12, which is titled Bad Wolf. The 9th Doctor regenerates into the 10th Doctor, who is played by David Tennant. Ben Glenroy is played by Paul Rudd, and Ian Smith plays Harold Bishop in Neighbours. So that is it for this week's weekly quiz, and that's actually it for Season 2, Episode 45 of the Everything Podcast. So into the next episode, I'll be doing a review of the Doctor Who 2005 Christmas special titled The Christmas Invasion. There is some big Finish news, and I will be telling you what you've got to look forward to in the next couple of episodes. So I will see you then. But that's it for the Everything Podcast, Season 2, Episode 45. Goodbye.